2020 Institutional Highlights. House connection. Total connections for 2020 increased by 3.7% compared to 2019. Residential consumers comprised the bulk of the connections, equivalent to 94.31%, a typical scenario for a rural area like Southern Leyte. Interestingly, 16% of the total residential consumers is lifeline consumers or those consuming 0 to 10 kilowatt-hour per month. The increase in the number of total connections for the year does not necessarily mean a significant surge in the consumption, since a major portion of the same came from the beneficiaries of the government as well as SOLECO socialized electrification program. 5-year connection growth. Average connection growth for the period 2016 to 2020 is at 5%, of which 2019 registers the highest growth of 6%. The aggressive ongoing energization of the National Intensification of Household Electrification or NIHE and Light the Home Program or LAMP beneficiaries is the main factor for the said growth. Year 2020 logs 3.7% increase compared to 2019 and the smallest increase for the period. It is believed that the pandemic is the main reason for the lackluster growth during the year. 5-year membership growth. Membership average growth for the period 2016 to 2020 is 5%, of which 2019 registers the highest percentage growth so far at 9%. The spike in growth in 2019 is incidental to the massive energization of the National Intensification of Household Electrification or NIHE recipients and the online pre-membership orientation seminar or PMOS. The latter is one of the requisites before an MCO can avail of the electric service. Easy access to PMOS encourages consumers to become members of the EC as it can be done online. However, year 2020 registers the smallest increase for the period of 2%. Again, this trend is incidental to the connection growth of the same year as MCOs were restricted to go outside, especially at the height of the pandemic. AGMA attendance. Attendance to the Annual General Membership Assembly or AGMA showed significant upward trend, averaging 20% increase from 2015 to 2019, indicating improved member consumer owners or MCOs participation in SOLECO's major institutional activities. In 2020, SOLECO was not able to conduct its 43rd AGMA due to the deferral of EC activities as ordered by NEA in compliance with the health protocols mandated by the government to prevent or minimize the spread of the dreaded COVID-19. Customer service standards. Based on the NEA's latest assessment, SOLECO passed the 7 performance indicators of the customer service standards as the EC strived to improve its services to the MCOs. Financial highlights. Sales by type of consumers. Residential consumers own the biggest chunk of sales in kilowatt-hour, comprising of 70.5% of 2020 total sales, followed by commercial at 15.7%, public building 8.6%, industrial 4.7%, and street lights 0.5%. Except for the residential consumers, sales from the commercial, public building, industrial, and street lights were lower than the 2019 sales. The lockdown and movement restrictions of people primarily contributed to the decrease of sales of the said customer classes. Collection efficiency. SOLECO has consistently maintained its high collection efficiency in the past several years. For the period 2016 to 2020, the EC performed excellently in this parameter, achieving 100% for more than 5 consecutive years, which is remarkably higher than the standard of at least 95%. Co-op's 2020 financial operation vis-a-vis the financial parameters set by the National Electrification Administration or NEA and the Energy Regulatory Commission or the ERC clearly showed that SOLECO has done fairly well in passing the different parameters. However, the EC exceeded its system loss or SL feeder by 0.69%. Actual SL is 10.94% against standard SL of 10.25%. Where does our revenue go? The chart presents a stark reality that 79% of SOLECO's 2020 revenue goes directly to power costs, which represents its payment of power purchased from suppliers. This is in direct contrast to what many believe that all or most of its revenue go directly to the co-op's coffer. In fact, it is only 21% which goes to the co-op, representing the distribution, supply, and metering or DSM charges which can be used in its operation. Trainings and seminars. One of the thrusts of the co-op's management is the continuous upgrading of knowledge in the different aspect of electric service of its officers and employees by sending them to relevant trainings and seminars in order to improve competency, which will ultimately redound to the benefit of its MCOs through better electric service. With the COVID-19 pandemic, most of the seminars and trainings in 2020 were conducted online. Technical highlights. System loss. For 2020, SOLECO has the highest system loss for the 5-year period 2016 to 2020, though still below the cap of 12%, which is 11.98%, a slight increase compared to 2019. It now critically sits on the borderline, which is the 12% cap. The SL cap is being lowered every year until it reaches ultimately into a single digit. It is expected that the threshold could be reached sooner than later if no drastic measure is undertaken by the cooperative. The SL feeder has already exceeded the standard described above. SIFI and SIDI. SIFI. The System Average Interruption Frequency Index, or SIFI, is commonly used as a reliability indicator by electric power utilities. SIFI is the average number of interruptions that a customer would experience in a year. For the 5-year period, 2016 to 2020, SOLECO apparently experienced more frequent unscheduled power interruptions in 2017 but declined in the succeeding years. For 2020, this indicator showed an average of 20.79 unscheduled power interruptions per customer per year, the lowest in 5 years, and obviously below the maximum allowed of 25 interruptions per consumer per year. SIDI. The System Average Interruption Duration Index, or SIDI, indicates the total sustained average interruption duration per consumer for the year. It is commonly measured in minutes or hours of interruption. The above line graph, color orange, shows a sudden increase in 2017, which strongly correlates with the frequency of interruptions, meaning the more frequent power outages, the longer will be the duration of the interruption consumers will experience, if those were summed up in the whole period. In 2020, the SIDI of 1,708.75 minutes per consumer for the year is well within the standard of 2,700 minutes per consumer per year, and interestingly the lowest in the period. Most common causes of power interruptions are the following: vegetation, inclement weather, line equipment malfunction, defective line hardware, and the like, and man-made factors such as kaingin. For its part, SOLECO undertakes regular clearing and trimming operation via third party to clear the lines from vegetation. It has also conducted replacement of defective insulators and other corrective measures to minimize interruption. completed or implemented projects. Construction of double circuit line in San Jose Sogod to Santo Niño Buntok to improve power quality, efficiency, and reliability. Line upgrading from Conductor Bear ACSR 20 to 40 in Mantahan to Mambahaw, Maasin City to improve power quality, efficiency, and reliability. Line rehabilitation from bare to insulated in Libagon area to address power reliability. Single-phase line extensions within the coverage area to address low voltage problem. Secondary line extensions within the coverage area to address overextended service drop wires and NIHE concerns. Three-phase line extension in Poblacion Silago for National Housing Authority or NHA project in Barangay Poblacion Silago. Ongoing projects. Additional 10 MVA substation in Sorosoro, Maasin City to address power quality, efficiency, and reliability. Line conversion from single-phase to three-phase in Bagtikan to Lonoy, Maasin City to Mauho, Malitbog to address power quality, efficiency, and reliability. Line upgrading from Conductor Bear ACSR 20 to Conductor Insulated ACSR 40 in Mahayahay, St. Bernard to Poblacion, Hinunangan to address power quality, efficiency, and reliability. Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR. Environmental Program. Mindful of the ill effect of global warming, SOLECO regularly conducts annual tree and mangrove planting activities in the different areas within the province of Southern Leyte as its humble contribution to preserve Mother Earth, ensuring habitable environment for future generations. Last August 30, 2019, SOLECO conducted mangrove planting activity at Barangay Calagitan, Hinunangan during its 48th year founding anniversary. College Scholarship Program. Education provides greater opportunity for one to succeed in life. SOLECO believes that by providing our youth with the financial support in their pursuit of college education, they too can be a productive and responsible citizen in the community. Launched in 2018, the program covers full payment of tuition and miscellaneous fees, uniform allowance, monthly living allowance, and provision of yearly accident insurance for poor but deserving high school students. A total of 6 recipients, representing one for each district, shall be selected based on the established qualification requirements. Light the Home Program. Dubbed as one of the flagship social programs of SOLECO, this initiative was first coined by some of its employees who wanted to make a difference in others' lives by demonstrating the spirit of volunteerism and self-sacrifice so that others can enjoy the benefits of electricity. Since its adoption, SOLECO has considerably expanded its implementation to cover the entire franchise area, providing free electrical materials and installations of households belonging to indigent families. Implementation of the National Intensification of Household Electrification or NIHE. As an implementing arm of the government's Rural Electrification Program, SOLECO aggressively energizes NIHE beneficiaries comprised of indigent families in the entire franchise area. More than 75% of the household beneficiaries have been energized so far. Gift Giving and Feeding Program. As a responsible electric cooperative, SOLECO's thrust does not conclude in providing electricity to our member consumer owners. It goes beyond its traditional role by unselfishly extending its hand to the less fortunate children in the far-flung areas, giving them the reason to smile. Bloodletting Program. SOLECO, in close connection with the Philippine National Red Cross, regularly conducts bloodletting activity participated by all qualified employees and member consumer owners as its selfless involvement to save the lives of others.